This week I was asked the question, do you have any special message to share with us for this particular time? The answer is yes. So here's the message. Sometimes all the suffering that we experience in our own lives and in the world seems so much that we can't cope with it. But there is an upside to suffering. It's that suffering tends to take us to a crossroads where we can't take it any longer. It's a do or die kind of scenario. We are at a crossroads where we are about to do things completely, drastically different. This is absolutely wonderful. We are in a place and a time where awakening is no longer a luxury, it is an absolute necessity. This world cannot afford the luxury of unconsciousness. We cannot bear the suffering that comes along with that unconsciousness. So one by one we're waking up. You are a part of this world. This means that as you awaken, the world awakens with you. As you end suffering within yourself, you end it in the world. You can only make an impact if you believe you can make an impact. If you want to believe that you can make an impact, you have to start looking at suffering only as a whole instead of in parts. Instead of focusing on that one painful thing within the world that you feel like you can do nothing about, I want you to look at the collective picture, the big picture of suffering, if you will. When you look at the big picture of suffering, you can't help but notice that you are a part of the world, and therefore you are a part of the collective suffering. Soon it will become apparent that the single most important thing you will ever do to reduce the collective suffering in this world is to reduce the suffering within yourself. So that's the vow that I'm asking you to take. We have been running all our lives in a rat race that never ends, always running away from what we fear and towards what we crave. As we awaken, we see that the running is what's killing us. It is the ever-present resistance that colors the background of our lives, causing us to suffer. You can only suffer so much before you come to the realization that because the running itself is causing you pain, there's nothing left to do but to stop running no matter what the cost. Today we are called as individuals and as a world to make this decision. By deciding to stop running from what scares you, you set yourself free. Instead of feeling better, your aim is to get better at feeling, and as a result you become intensely present. The unconscious within you becomes conscious. Craving becomes pure desire. The shadow within you is no longer separated from the light of your own consciousness. You begin to integrate, and as a result, you start to experience yourself as whole again. This is when you catch a glimpse of peace for the very first time. From this day forward, you will see each moment of your life as the opportunity to begin anew. You will seize this opportunity. You will see that what is now about you is the culmination of all that has been, and all that will be is becoming in the now. The objective reality of eternalness, which exists far beyond the confines of the subjective truth of time, contains a glimpse of an axiom. The axiom is this: because time does not exist, it is your choice what you become in each moment. You cannot become more or less of what you already and always are. You were never broken. You were never less than complete. Inevitably, one day you will come to realize that you were, are, and always will be whole and complete in your perpetual state of continual evolution. So stop running, and the world will stop running too. Have a good week.